of these photographs?
That gentleman. That gentleman. Testing 1 2 3. السيدات والسادة الكرام في الخارج، ندعوكم للانضمام إلينا هنا في القاعة الرئيسية، إذ أننا سنبدأ الجلسة الثالثة من جلسات هذا المؤتمر الآن. السيدات والسادة الكرام، نجدد ترحيبنا بكم في مؤتمر تمويل المنشآت الصغيرة والمتوسطة 2019، ونحن على موعد الآن مع الجلسة الثالثة من جلسات هذا اليوم بعنوان التمويل الخاص بقطاع معين، قطاع السياحة والقطاعات الصناعية وسلاسل التوريد. بعد تطوير القطاعات الواعدة برؤية مبتكرة وتنافسية ومستدامة، يعد ذلك من أهم الركائز لتحقيق رؤية المملكة 2030. وستناقش هذه الجلسة القضايا الرئيسية والسياسات العامة للمساعدة في تحسين بيئة تمويل المنشآت الصغيرة والمتوسطة للقطاعات الواعدة مثل السياحة والصناعة والخدمات اللوجستية وسلاسل الإمداد، وكيفية توطين هذه القطاعات عن طريق توسيع نطاق أدوات التمويل المتاحة. Before we start this session, I'd like to give you a hint that Ms. Noor Ashbib Naib, she will be speaking in Arabic. So if you need a translation headset, please grab one. إذن ladies and gentlemen، السيدات والسادة الكرام، رحبوا معي بالسيد بول مورينو لوبيز، قائد البرنامج للبنك الدولي. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Moreno Lopez.
Thank you very much indeed. My name is Paul Moreno Lopez. I am a program leader for the GCC countries based here in Saudi Arabia at the World Bank, covering all sectors related to economic developments, macro, micro, and governance. I have the great pleasure of chairing this panel that, as you will see, is composed of three people with very rich and very diverse experience. And I am happy to introduce to you, first of all, Noor Al-Shabib, who is a Vice President of Strategic and Business Development at the SIDF. And next to her is Samir Vakil, who is the co-founder and the CEO of a company that's called DG Vishon. And my colleague Ali Aboukmail, who is a senior private sector specialist that has had a wide experience in the GCC and other countries as well. The three of them, and myself to the extent that's needed, will talk about the links and the connections between financing, SMEs, value chains, from three very different perspectives and yet complementary in terms of what they can do for SME development in the country, not only in tourism, but also in other sectors as well. And to start, I announce that each of our panelists will take about 5 minutes to present the issues on which they would like to focus. And after the 20 minutes expired, you will all have the opportunity to ask questions as open as you want, because as you will hear from them, this is a very wide span open and they will cast the net wide. Thank you very much and welcome to all the panelists, and I wish you the best luck possible because this is the big test for you.
Thank you, Paul. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته جميعا. أسأل الله مساءكم بكل خير. معكم نور شبيب، مساعد المدير العام للاستراتيجية وتطوير الأعمال في صندوق التنمية الصناعي. أنا تحت إدارتي في الاستراتيجية وتطوير الأعمال والتواصل. مو مسموع. أوكي. ويمكن أهم شيء عندي هو أني أنا مسؤولة عن التحول الاستراتيجي اللي صاير في الصندوق الآن. قبل ما أتطرق للمواضيع حقت تخص المنشآت الصغيرة والمتوسطة، حبيت أعطي نبذة عن برنامج الرؤية اللي إحنا مندرجين تحته، اللي هو برنامج الوطني لتطوير الصناعة والخدمات اللوجستية، أو برنامج ندلب National Industrial Logistics and Development Program. برنامج ندلب هو أحد البرامج الرؤية 13، ويمكن أكبر برنامج من ناحية الأثر. في يندرج تحته 4 قطاعات: الصناعة، التعدين، الخدمات اللوجستية، والطاقة. وحجم الاستثمارات المتوقع من برنامج ندلب هو 1.7 تريليون ريال في 2030. حجم الصادرات مفروض انه ان شاء الله يزيد عن تريليون ريال. الناتج المحلي ان شاء الله فوق ال 1.2 تريليون ريال، ومستهدف ايضا خلق 1.6 مليون وظيفة ان شاء الله. طبعا الصندوق الصناعي هو الممكن المالي الرئيس لبرنامج ندلب، فمطلوب مننا طبعا التوسع في القطاعات الأخرى. ويمكن بعضكم ممكن تكونوا سمعتوا عند إطلاق برنامج ندلب في يناير، فتم زيادة رأس مال الصندوق ليصل إلى 150 مليار ريال، وبدينا استلام الطلبات في قطاع الخدمات اللوجستية. في بعض البرامج اللي احنا بدينا طبعا الشغل عليها في الصندوق، وحبيت اني اشارككم فيها. اول برنامج اللي هو برنامج التنافسيه. برنامج التنافسيه فكرته هو تحفيز المنشآت او المنشآت الصناعيه على زياده اما كفاءه الانتاجيه او زياده كفاءه الطاقه، وبتحويل بعضها الى التقنيات اعلى او الاندستري 4.0 عن طريق شروط تحفيزيه او شروط افضل وسرعه اكثر في استلام القروض. البرنامج الثاني اللي عندنا هو برنامج توطين. برنامج توطين يعمل على ايضا خلق الفرص الاستثماريه للمنشآت بفهم الاستثمارات التي تحتاجها الشركات الكبيره زي ارامكو وسابك ومعادن، من خلال توطين احتياجاتها ودعم سلاسل الامداد. البرنامج الثالث، ويمكن هو اهم برنامج بالنسبه للقائنا اليوم، هو برنامج آفاق، والذي مخصص لرواد الاعمال والمنشآت الصغيره والمتوسطه. احنا طبعا في الصندوق السنه الماضيه تقريبا اكثر من 30% من القروض او اللي اعتمدناها كانت للمنشآت الصغيره بالاعداد القروض. فطبعا في تركيز كبير بالصندوق على المنشآت الصغيره والمتوسطه. فالمبادره حقتنا برنامج آفاق اطلقنا منه جزئيتين. اول جزئيه وهي تدعم نمو او تحفيز نمو المنشآت الصغيره او رواد الاعمال. لقينا انه في جهات كثيره تدعم بدايه المشروع زي واعد وزي بنك التنميه الاجتماعي، ولكن ما في احد يحفز النمو. فلقينا ان رواد الاعمال اذا كان في حتى لو عندهم نمو 5%، فنعطيهم بعض الشروط زي او بعض التفضيليات، زي مثلا 30% من القرض مقدم، ما نشترط اي ضمانات اضافيه، الملاءه الماليه تكون 50% بدال 100 من قيمه المشروع. من ناحيه يعني محاوله التحفيز، والى الان تقريبا مولنا يمكن 26 مليون من لهذه المشاريع. الجزئيه الثانيه من برنامج آفاق هي دعم رواد الاعمال عن طريق التعاون مع المسرعات او الحاضنات، زي اللي مع برنامج بادر مسرعه الاعمال الصناعيه. فكرتها هذه اعطائهم اذا كان في مثلا رائد اعمال عنده فكره جيده ولكن ما عنده ملاءه ماليه كافيه، فممكن نوجهه الى برنامج بادر حسب شروط برنامج بادر، ونعطيه اذا تخرج من برنامج بادر قرض مشروط. فكذا يعني ندعمه بانه يقدر ان نعطيه قوه تفاوض انه يروح يقدر يجيب راس مال الجريء. فاتوقع اني اخذت اكثر من وقتي، ولكن في كثير اشياء قاعد نسويها في الصندوق ودي اتكلم عنها، وان شاء الله بعدين اذا في وقت.
Thank you very much, Noor. I was just about to call your attention to that. Please, let's move.
Sure. Well, thank you, and it's great to be on my maiden trip to Saudi Arabia, so it feels great to be here. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity on a very well organized conference here. Uh, as a brief introduction, actually I'm going to divide my talking time into three parts. A very brief introduction to myself, a little about the solution that we are developing, which we hope is going to be a global game changer in time. And the third is what I see of Vision 2030 and how it ties back to some recommendations on how small businesses can get better access to finance in a more efficient way. And for all of us in the rooms who are committed to helping the small businesses in some way to be able to facilitate that even better. So on the first part, I've had about 30 years of global experience working in India, which is my home country, followed by a few years in Japan, in Tokyo, and then in New York. My last corporate role in New York was with Citibank, where I was helping them build a bank of the future across 50 countries globally, a digital bank. My role in Tokyo, I was president of Citi Cards Japan, which was one of the 4 global regions, and I did that for about 4 years, which is where I learned a lot of digital and the value that digital can bring, including to small businesses. Before that, several years in India, I was the president of MasterCard for South Asia, the 7 countries in and around India, G Capital and HSBC before that. So largely been a consumer banker and payments professional. What I've created now is a startup called Global Linker. Global Linker could be thought about as a LinkedIn for small businesses. Now we've seen that the reason why people make business connections is so that they can explore more opportunities. And one of the problems with small businesses, largely due to lack of economies of scale, is they end up being very local. They don't have the resources to make new connections. We are going to change that by having a community of small businesses. In just the last couple of years since we've started, our platform has 250,000 SME firms from 151 countries, though we have local presence currently only in 3 countries. And this is just the start. Global Linker is offered as a co-branded platform to governments, trade bodies, and corporations, all of whom are offering SME a wide range of services, including in the next few months, there will be a B2B marketplace, aggregated group buying capability for small businesses, a lot of knowledge and other value, including the business networking, which is at the core of it. Vision 2030, I must say, probably one of the most impressive documents ever I've read or come across. The articulation is very, very visionary, very far thought through, and very clearly articulated right down to implementation, including the structure of going from the 3 pillars, going down to the 6 overarching principles, right the way down to implementation with 96 focus areas, is probably one of the most impressive documents. I understand this will be a living document that will keep changing. And the reason I reference this is the whole philosophy and the timing of Vision 2030 coinciding with a point where digital around the world has been accepted as a way of life. There couldn't be better timing. And the reason I say that is if using the digital environment that we live in today with a vision as well articulated and focused as Vision 2030, we could change the SME scenario entirely by the principle of the golden triangulation. 3 aspects to look at. If we can create user journeys from a small business perspective of how they will participate in Vision 2030 in those focus areas that have been identified, triangulate that with a second component, which is pre-created rule sets and trigger points, and match that with integrated components. And I'll just take that as an example. If you had to take the triangulation of these 3 components, you could actually have more small businesses digitizing commerce. As they digitize commerce, you can have rule sets which says if the stock values of people are at a certain level, if their sales turnover is running at a certain component, if their goods returned are within a certain margin, you could actually have a lending proposition pre-created for them with a one-click experience that they can actually go through and get funded. This will reverse the cycle. banks will start approaching the small businesses rather than small businesses going to banks. And when I say banks, I should say financial institutions. And this would apply to every other walk of life, not just funding and financing. The focus will really change to how do we help small businesses grow their business, participate in the economy, and make the economy successful further and faster, and let all the services, including funding and financing, dovetail into that. So that's the principle I'm going to be recommending, and given how clearly and well articulated Vision 2030 is, it fits really like a hand in glove. So those are my sort of initial comments, and there's obviously a very vast subject to talk about, but given time limitations, I will pass this on at the dot of 5 minutes, I guess.
Thank you very much, Samira and Ali.
Hi, good afternoon, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak here today. As Paul mentioned, I work at the World Bank as a senior private sector specialist. My experience was mainly focused on SME development over the last 18 years, whether it's in policy institutions or private sector or the World Bank. At the bank, over the last 10 years, I worked in around 9 countries in the Middle East, North Africa, and a couple of the projects I've led were actually focused on tourism. So they asked me today to give a few thoughts on tourism and how can we make more like access to finance possibilities for them. And my thoughts come from a number of resources. I mean, the first is that I was originally a tour guide in the old days, and then I worked as an operator. I ran a couple of projects at the bank, as I said, but also I'd like to share with you some thoughts from World Bank experiences in Middle East, Africa, and OECD countries recently. So in a nutshell, like I have a few thoughts here, I'll probably touch upon them, but then we can go into the questions afterwards. The first is that many of the challenges that are actually facing SMEs in the tourism sector are basically sector neutral. So we all know that they face issues relevant to lack of collateral, they have lack of financial literacy, they have also problems in management skills. And these are not very explicit to tourism. I mean, these are common like any other SMEs in the world. Now, what's very special about tourism, or the issues that are like focused on tourism, I would say the businesses or SMEs in the tourism sector are usually fragmented. They're very small, they're service-based, so like the problem of the ICT, they don't have a lot of collateral to offer, and they're not really convincing financial institutions to give them loans. They're high risk generally because of the seasonality. So if you look at their cash flow, it would look booming in some months, and other months it would look obsolete. So they would need a good management to ensure that this company is running well. And the last thing, which is very important, is that they are working and operating locally, but they're connected to the global value chain by default. So anything that happens around the world, whether it's the consumer preference of where to actually travel, or the issues around the world on stability of a region, or even macroeconomic stability of the country itself relevant to exchange rate and others, these all affect tourism, SMEs, and the businesses in tourism in general. As you heard from my colleague, the third thought that digitalization is becoming very important, and the sector itself is becoming very individualized. So we've seen a fading away trend of the groups that are traveling from country to country, and more individual experiences. And individual experiences mainly are dependent on applications that are online. So if you are, as an SME, who would like to tap into the demand, are not connected to these platforms like TripAdvisor or Airbnb if you are having a guest house, or others if you are a restaurant, then you're really outside the market. So that's part of the non-financial development that SMEs in tourism should look at. So what do they really or usually look for in terms of financing? There are different categories. So the common instrument that SMEs in tourism look for is usually debt financing. And if you look at them while they are micro, they usually look to get money from friends and family. They go overdraft on their bank account, or they go overdraft on their credit cards. And